If we don't educate, if we don't inspire, if we don't make sure that our children know how to raise Jewish children, then we're going to be in trouble.
We have lost a number of generations, and it is in our power to bring them back and to engage with the new generations.
The United Synagogue is the only organisation working towards a common goal, which is revitalising British Jewry.
I'm really proud of the team that is now including all our members in a programme for living, learning and caring.
Living, Learning and Caring is our new strategy. This strategy identifies that you cannot simply take Jewish education and treat it as an academic subject.
I love Tribe. It's the best camp ever. Best camp ever. Yes, the best. Yeah, it's the best camp in the world.
In the last number of years, Tribe has revolutionised how many young people see the United Synagogue. No longer are we this old dinosaur, we're something new and fresh. We're now at the next step. Tribe is in, Tribe is not going away. Now we have to make sure the rest of the United Synagogue follows suit, and the younger people through Tribe have something to go into once they're too old for Tribe. Now it's phase 2, living, learning and caring.
You have to live Judaism. That's why we call it living and learning. You know, I remember from my old days going through Cheder. It was a pretty grim experience. That simply has got to change.
Learning for Jewish children will now be different because we're going to focus much more on practical skills. And I hope the practical skills will enable them in a fun way to be able to really develop their Jewish involvement. We're also going to focus on social involvement in Cheder, particularly for children who live in outlying areas or areas where there are not so many other Jewish children, to help provide an enjoyable context for them to have their Jewish studies. We're going to be able to try and help schools reach all of their members by providing the wherewithal, perhaps some of the ideas, and the practical assistance to schools, both at a local level but also at a greater communal level, to be able to do things which perhaps they hadn't been able to do before.
I cannot remember a time when the United Synagogue strategically has homed in so effectively and directly on the areas of chesed, of practicing Jewish values, of learning about Jewish values, and of living them in a powerful, passionate and meaningful manner. The new professional leadership in the United Synagogue seems to me to be focused genuinely on a sense of partnership, on win-win situations, driving the community forward in a much more positive, engaged, homogeneous and effective manner.
The work of our care groups and our other chesed projects has really been elevated to the importance it deserves. We're really making a difference to other people on a daily basis, and that's been recognised now in the restructure of the United Synagogue. It's a different way of people connecting with their shuls, so that shuls become a place of social responsibility and acts of loving kindness, as well as places of prayer and study. We have a bereavement befriending service where we have people visiting elderly members, helping with shopping, walking people to shul if that's required. We also have volunteers who are coordinating our regular collections, be it shoes, old mobile phones, old clothes, visit people in hospital if they're unwell, or visit people in their own homes.
The biggest problem with us old people is the lack of communication.
Sadly, within our community, there's a growing number of people who are struggling to afford daily life, basically. Every Pesach, we supply Pesach food parcels for members who are struggling to afford the costs associated with eating kosher at Pesach. And each year, year on, the number of parcels that we're requested is increasing. The US Chesed department is really reinvigorating the United Synagogue and taking our members in a new and exciting direction of reaching out and demonstrating that we really care about each other and about the wider world we're living in.
It's a wonderful thing to do, no question about it.
We have to have a strategy to ensure that we engage with our community, both young and old, and deal with the challenge that comes from both the right and the left. As Chief Executive, I've made it my business to every year visit every single one of our communities. I speak, I talk to people, I listen to people, and that interaction has allowed me to create both a rapport with our membership, but also the ability for them to impact on our strategic thinking here at the centre.
I'm confident. I think it's a really exciting time for United Synagogue.
Every reason to have confidence.
I'm very optimistic.
So far, excellent. This will be the foundations for the long-term future of the United Synagogue.
Very good. Very impressive. About time.
Communities are realising they need more personnel. They want to run projects for the young marrieds. They want to employ somebody to do things for adult education, but they can't employ anybody. There's no money for that. And therefore what ends up happening, time again, is there's a demand, but we can't supply that demand.
We don't want to go home. Why can't we?
The exciting thing is that we're kind of at the tipping point now. We suddenly see that we're really making a difference to communities. We've got hundreds of kids who on, if not a daily, then at the very least a weekly basis, are actively engaging in our programs. What we're doing is quite literally changing the face of communities, changing lives, changing Judaism in the UK.
Things are changing. This is a good news story, and it's great to be part of it.
The kids get it, and their parents and grandparents are beginning to get it too. What we have also is a group of rabbis, both old and young, who want to move this forward. This is this engagement with our community, moving them along their Jewish journey. That is what's so exciting.
The real tragedy will be that in the future, we won't have failed because we didn't know what to do. We know what programs work. We know what strategies engage people in their communities. We know how to get the younger generation tuned in to Judaism. The reason we may not succeed is because we don't have the funding and the support to create enough programs for enough people to be engaged with their local communities. The team we've created today is young, dynamic, passionate. They have a vision, they have a direction. The only thing they do not have at the moment is the funding and support to make the change across all our communities for all our members.